In this video, we will add TrueNAS metrics to the rest of our monitoring stack using Prometheus and Grafana. If you do not already have Prometheus or Grafana set up, I'll have guides linked below to get these set up. If you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe. I also have a Discord server linked below for asking questions and discussing other tech topics. With all that out of the way, let's get started. TrueNAS has built-in reporting using netdata. However, this is not accessible in monitoring tools such as Prometheus and Grafana by default. We first need to export it using the built-in exporter to make it accessible. Under Reporting, Exporters, go ahead and add a new exporter. Set the type to Graphite, set the IP to the IP of your NAS, and set the destination port to 9109. Go ahead and set the prefix to TrueNAS, as well as the namespace. Make sure that both of these are set to TrueNAS. We can leave all the others as default and go ahead and add your exporter. This exporter will essentially expose the internal TrueNAS metrics as Graphite metrics. The issue is we need these to be Prometheus metrics, not Graphite. In order to fix this, we will use the Graphite Prometheus exporter to inject these into Prometheus. Before we deploy our exporter, we need to make some changes to the data TrueNAS provides. As of TrueNAS version 25.04, the default metrics have been reduced compared to previous versions. Because of this, we'll be using the netdata.conf link below to add back missing metrics so we have them in our exporter. To do this, download the file and use the following command to copy it from your local machine to the temp directory on your NAS. Do not use SSH for this. This command should be run from your local machine terminal. I'll have this and all other commands linked below. Please be sure to update the path for your local file, as well as the IP for your NAS. Once copied over, we can replace the existing config with the new one. SSH into your NAS or open a shell under System Shell in the TrueNAS UI and use the following command to replace the existing config. Once replaced, use the following command to set the owner of the config to root. With that set, we can now restart our netdata service with the following command. We will not notice a difference with the metrics within TrueNAS itself. This new config is only to allow certain metrics to be exported. As a side note, this config will be reset whenever you update TrueNAS, so you'll need to reapply this config after updates. I'll have a script link below to help automate this process. Simply copy it to your NAS and run it whenever you need to replace the netdata config. With that all set up, let's set up our Prometheus exporter for this data. Before deploying our exporter, let's create a dataset for our mappings file. This will allow the Prometheus exporter to know how to interpret the Graphite data. Under TrueNAS datasets, go ahead and create a new dataset. Make sure that this uses the apps dataset preset. Once created, we need to add our metrics mapping file to this dataset. We can do this similarly to how we added the netcloud config to our NAS. Download the Graphite Mapping file linked below and then copy it to your NAS using the following command. Again, I'll have all of these linked below. Unlike the Nextcloud file, this can be copied directly to your config path as it is not a system file, and we do not need to use sudo permissions. Once copied, SSH into your NAS or open a shell from System Shell in the TrueNAS UI. Use the following command to make sure the newly copied file is readable. If we skip this step, there's a chance that the Graphite exporter won't be able to read this file and won't start up properly. With that set up, let's go ahead and deploy our exporter. Head over to Portainer or your Docker manager of choice and create or update a stack. I'm using my existing exporter stack from the previous Prometheus exporter guide. Paste in the Graphite exporter linked below. Be sure to update the path to your mapping config that we created previously. Also be sure to check your ports. By default, we're using port 9108 as the port that Prometheus will use to get these metrics. The other port, 9109, is the one that we set in our netdata exporter in TrueNAS. Make sure this port matches whatever you set in the TrueNAS exporter. With all that set up, let's go ahead and deploy our exporter. Once our exporter is healthy, let's update our Prometheus config to read from our new exporter. SSH back into your NAS or open a new shell through the TrueNAS UI. Open your Prometheus config using Vim. Edit the config with insert and paste in the Graphite exporter job linked below. Make sure to use port 9108 as well as having the correct container name that matches the container we used in our compose file. We can hit escape to exit edit mode and save with :wq. With that saved, let's restart Prometheus and validate our exporter. Back in the TrueNAS UI, under apps, we can either restart Prometheus by hitting restart on the Prometheus app, or we can also restart by going to the Prometheus container in Portainer and restarting it there. Once restarted, head over to the Prometheus UI under status, target health, and we should see our new Graphite exporter showing up in green. If this is not in green or not showing at all, please validate the container name used in the Prometheus config as well as the port. Also make sure the exporter is on the same Docker network as Prometheus. With all that verified, let's add a Grafana dashboard and look at our new metrics. Head over to Grafana, Dashboards, New, and import a dashboard. Paste in or upload the JSON file linked below. Select Prometheus as the data source and import. You should see a dashboard similar to this one. You will not have much data at first as Prometheus has not been collecting data for long, but this should fill out over time. With this setup, we have full visibility into our TrueNAS metrics. Some great next steps would be to set up alerts or create your own dashboards based on these metrics. If you need a refresher on this, please watch my previous Grafana video linked below. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and happy self-hosting.